it's not easy running a saltwater fishing channel in Oklahoma.
Right.
So there was a lot of, I don't know if you say trials and tribulations, but a lot of just trying stuff out to see if it worked.
Mm-hmm.
And just a lot of mistakes, but I was just determined, to stick with it and make it happen.
The last couple of guests that we've had on the Fishing Business Podcast have been entrepreneurs who started businesses in their garage or in their house somewhere and grew them into bigger businesses. And that's really inspirational. And I hope you guys have gotten as much out of those episodes as I have. Well, this week we have another entrepreneur, but it's in a different way. This is someone who is transitioning from a lifetime job, retiring from one job and starting into another to fulfill his lifelong dream of sort of fishing for a living. Now, you'll be interested to see how he's doing this. His name is Sean Lawless, and he has a YouTube channel, but he is from Oklahoma, and his YouTube channel is about saltwater fishing, if you could believe that. So we're going to find out all about how Sean is going to take the leap from being a full-time firefighter in Tulsa, Oklahoma, to being a full-time fishing guide and content creator on YouTube. All right, y'all, it's the Fishing Business Podcast. This is going to be good. Sean Lawless has a YouTube channel called The Lawless Tide. I want you to run right out and subscribe. Go look at his channel and subscribe to it, but not right now. As soon as we get done, I want you to go look at Sean's YouTube channel and be part of it. Sean is a firefighter in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And of course, Sean, the first question that comes to mind for a lot of people is how did you start a YouTube channel on saltwater fishing in Tulsa, Oklahoma, which is kind of the heartland in the middle of the country, landlocked, not Florida. How did that happen?
Oh, well, it all started with my wife and mine's first trip down to Florida. And a couple days into the trip, I asked her if she wanted to move here. And she was originally from Florida. She was born in Pensacola and lived there until like the middle of elementary school. And her parents drug her all the way to Oklahoma and she had to relocate. And she's always wanted to go back. I was
going to say, don't tell me she hadn't ever said, Lord, I'd like to go back and live in Florida. She had to have said that many times over the years, right?
A lot.
Yeah. And so when you came around and said, how would you like to live here? I bet she was doing the happy dance.
Oh, yeah. And a lot of I told you so, too, because she tried for 19 years to get me to go down and visit Florida with her. And we just had kids, youth sports and all that stuff going on. So we never made the trip all the way down. And then when we finally did, I was like, yeah, you're right.
This is my place. These are my people, and this is my place. That's the way I have felt too. But now you were a fisherman in Oklahoma, maybe not avid, but how did you start? How did you start fishing?
I really got into fishing once I joined the fire department. There's a ton of hunters and fishermen on the department, and I'd lived in the middle of Tulsa, in the middle of the city, so I didn't get exposed to a lot of hunting or fishing while I was young. And once I got on the fire department, it felt natural going fishing and hunting, just loved it. So I did. Been doing that.
How old were you when you became a firefighter?
26.
26.
I believe 20. Yeah, 20.
And
26.
you've been a firefighter for 25 years?
It'll be 25 this summer. Yes.
So you are eligible to retire as a firefighter, but you're young. I mean, for one thing, you look, I had to tell the people out there watching that I know Sean and his wife, Michelle. I met them down here in Florida, and they both look like they're about 30, but they have adult children. And so I know that they can't be 30 unless they started really, really, really early. But you're very young to be saying, I'm going to retire and go to Florida and become a fishing guide and continue to be a content creator for a YouTube channel.
Well, I've done 25 years on the department, and this year I turned 50. So I'm not a spring chicken anymore.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty normal retirement time, 25, 30 years on the fire department.
Right. But don't you think most people would probably retire and then go, move to another state and be a firefighter, or do something else, like sort of, 9 to 5 ish, or do a lot of firefighters just go pursue their dreams?
Oh, I don't know. I would say that it's probably more common for guys to go, find another job or start have their own business going, or something like that. But I have known some that have uprooted and moved when they retired. Not many.
And, I say that because I know you're humble, and you don't want to say, you don't want to talk about yourself too much. But I have to tell you that I saw your wife post something on social media a couple of weeks ago, and I can't remember exactly what it said, but it was kind of like, if not now, when? What are you waiting for? Oh, I know what it was. It was like, we work so much of our life, and then we retire, and statistics say 11 years later we die, or something like that. And she's like, what are we waiting on? And that really struck me, and I've thought about it ever since, that you have the gumption to go, I'm gonna go do what I want to do. I'm not gonna keep doing the normal 9 to 5 stuff. Not that firefighting's 9 to 5, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I found what I want to do, and it's kind of grown into a passion, and we're ready.
Yeah.
We're ready to make the move.
Okay. So you didn't really start how long ago did you start your YouTube channel?
About 3.5 years ago.
And so you started saltwater fishing only about 5 years ago.
Correct.
That is just crazy to me that you have been doing it for 5 years, and now you're going to make it your career. So Sean is going to retire from the fire department, move to Florida. He's going to continue to develop content for the Lawless Tide, and he's going to become a fishing guide, specializing in the panhandle area. He's going to live in the panhandle and take people out in this area. What goes through your mind to say, I think I can make that work?
Well, I started out just fishing and saltwater. And of course, the only way I had to learn was YouTube. Yeah. Because I'm in Oklahoma, but when we decided we were going to move, we bought the house down there. Mm-hmm. So we were going to go down and visit several times a year. And the only way I had, besides learning on the fly while we were there, was watching YouTube channels while we're here in Oklahoma. So I watched a bunch of YouTube to try and pick up the ins and outs of saltwater fishing.
So, but it's crazy to me that you can be sitting in Tulsa in February watching a YouTube video and then going, okay, when I go down there at the end of March, I'm going to do just what he did. I'm going to go to a place just like that. And I just can't. You must be so determined. You must be like a dog with a bone, because most people would look at it and go, yeah, I think I want to do that, and forget about it and go on to something else. But you didn't.
Oh, no. No, it's definitely become a passion of mine. And I think about it 24/7.
Really? And so how did you develop enough? How did you produce enough content to have a saltwater channel? How many times a year would you come to Florida?
We would come down usually probably about 4 to 5 times. And we'd stay sometimes 2 weeks. And then this last year, we worked it out where we were staying like 3 or 4 weeks at a time. Mm-hmm. So while we're down there, I'm fishing dawn till dusk, sometimes all night too, trying to get content, because I got to get all the content saved up for when we come back. I've got a 3 or 4 month span that I've got to fill with videos.
Yeah. Do you put out one a week?
Everything. Yes. I try to put out one a week, and sometimes it's been every other week. Mm-hmm. But I try to do one a week.
Yeah. That's awesome. I'm so, like I said, I'm just so impressed with that. You must be really, what's the word I'm looking for? Disciplined. You must be really disciplined.
Oh, I was going to say hard-headed.
Hard-headed too, but I mean that's what my dad would have called it. But disciplined is probably a better word for it. Why did you call it the Lawless Tide? That's a great name.
Well, I was trying to come up with an original name, and I didn't want to, just make the channel Sean Lawless Fishing or
Sean Lawless Outdoors.
And I got the idea. What?
Sean Lawless Outdoors. That's what everybody does. They slap outdoors on the end of their name. And
yep. I wanted it to be something different. And there's this group of guys from Australia, and their channel was called Morning Tide Fishing.
Oh.
And these guys are nuts. They go fishing off like cliffs and rocks and jumping into the water to land the fish. And
wow,
you can imagine how Australia is.
Yeah.
And so that name, Morning Tide Fishing, I was like, well, one day it's like, why don't you just call it the Lawless Tide?
Great name. It's a great name because that's, obviously it's your name, Sean Lawless, but the tide is lawless. And if if you've been around it, you respect that. Right.
Yes.
But at what point you're watching all these videos, at what point did you say, I could do that. I'm good enough to do that. What had to change in your mind to think you could do it?
Really, it was Ty Sutherland from 30 miles out. I went fishing with him a couple times during our first year, and we got to be friends. And I watched his channel all the time, and of course watched a bunch of other channels like Blair Wiggins and Robert Fields, Land Shark Fishing, the same ones everybody watches.
Yeah.
And watching Ty's, meeting him, he's just a down to earth, super nice guy. Mm-hmm. And so I asked him, I was like, what do you think about me doing it? And he was like, go for it. He's like, do it.
Yeah.
He's like, all you got to do is fish and film.
Yeah.
And so him and his wife, Teresa, have been kind of mentors, helping me out, prodding me along. When I get discouraged, I'll call them and they'd give me advice, tell me what to do. And
that's great.
So that's really his encouragement and just wanting to do it. And then his reinforcement of you can do it.
Right.
That's really what made me decide to do it.
Yeah. How have you grown your channel? Or what's the magic? What's the secret sauce to what's the magic in growing your YouTube?
Well, there's really no quick fix, or there's no secret. It's mainly being consistent and putting out quality content. Yeah. Everybody wants the viral video that gets 1 million views, but then after that video's gone, you're still stuck with the same amount of previous viewers because all those people don't subscribe or watch your channel. So it's just slowly, building brick upon brick of getting subscribers and quality content. Consistency is the most important thing.
It's like anything else. It's just hard work. People look at YouTube channels and go, oh my God, that would be the life, to be able to fish every day and make a YouTube channel and quit my job. But I promise you, no matter how easy how Ty Sutherland might make it look easy on 30 miles out, but it ain't easy.
No, there's no quick fix.
It's just hard work. When I started the Fishing Business Podcast, I looked at, because I put these on YouTube and as an audio podcast, I looked around to see if there were any other fishing business type podcasts. And there were, but they were all several years old and they had like about 10 episodes and that was it. And I think it's because people start and they think I can do this. And then you start realizing it's a grind. I'm not complaining about it. I love to do it, but it's not always, something that you're jumping up and down excited about. Sometimes it's a grind of, golly, I got to do that this week because I've obligated myself to do it,
Right. Yeah. And you got 20 videos out and you're like, why isn't anybody watching?
Right. Yeah. Listen, I'm begging people on my email list, y'all write back to me, let me know you're watching. I'm like going, is this on? Does anybody hear me? But I do love it when people write to me. It just means a lot to me. So, okay. So you're retiring from the fire department. You're moving to Florida. How long have these retirement plans been in the works, and what have you kind of built? I'm sure you have built upon to get to this point. Have you been planning it for 5 years?
Yeah, our trip to Florida 5 years ago, when I asked Michelle, do you want to move here? And she was like, yes, now. Mm-hmm. We started putting a plan together of, we were looking at houses on the way home from that trip. Mm-hmm. And within like 2 weeks, we'd put an offer in on a house that we'd never even seen.
Really?
We just found it online and had a realtor go check it out for us. And sure enough, we ended up buying it. We got it. And since that date, we've been slowly moving stuff down, getting things ready. We've really, we're living in bare bones right now.
Now, are you downsizing to move to Florida, or will it be a smaller place?
Oh, we've already we built our forever house 8 years ago. The house we thought we were going to live in until we died. 4,000 square foot.
Oh my gosh.
House up on a hill, and then Florida happened.
Yeah,
and we were like, wow, change of plans.
Here's a U-turn.
Yep.
Yeah. That's good.
We rolled with it. We sold the house. We've been staying in a rent house since we sold that. And we've got a nice little 1,500 square foot house. And I built a shop for all my fishing stuff in it.
That's great.
And it's been 5 years in the making, but it's going to happen.
When you go after what you want, your priorities can change, and you can figure out that, I don't need a 4,000 square foot house.
That's exactly what happened. We realized that we didn't need the big house. We didn't need all the things that go in a big house, mm-hmm. and all the material things mm-hmm. that when you're younger, you think those are going to make you happy. And we just realized all we needed was to be together and be at the beach, living at the beach.
Yeah, I love that. And you have adult children. You have 2 sons who are adults. I'm sure it's very, what a great example you're setting for them. But is there any piece of them that's like, oh my God, what are y'all doing? Can y'all stay in Tulsa?
Well, I think they just, at first, they thought we were crazy, maybe having a midlife crisis, or instead of buying a Corvette, we're moving to Florida,
Yeah.
But no, they're on board. They're excited about having a beach house to come visit whenever they want.
Mm-hmm. Sean, I wanted you to come on the show because I think a lot of people that watch this, would like to do what you're doing, kind of change everything and go be because you're going to be a guide and a content developer. And I think there's a lot of people that would want to do that. And I hope they're inspired by listening to your story. But I want to kind of get inside your brain a little bit about, even if a listener is not wanting to change their life to become a fisherman, although gosh, it seems like that's what most of the people that watch this want to do. Can we get inside your brain a little bit to think, because you are a determined and disciplined guy, and I think that's what makes you, that's what's going to make this successful for you. So can you talk a little bit about how that feels for you from the inside to say, I want this so bad that I'm going to do what it takes to do it?
Yeah, it's been, it's not easy running a saltwater fishing channel in Oklahoma.
Right.
So there was a lot of, I don't know if you say trials and tribulations, but a lot of just trying stuff out to see if it worked. Mm-hmm. And just a lot of mistakes, but I was just determined, to stick with it and make it happen.
Yeah.
The perseverance to, just keep on going. And I had my wife supported me a lot in it. The guys at work in their own way supported me.
Yeah.
So at the fire station.
I know some of Sean's firefighter friends, not a lot of them, but I've been around quite a few firefighters, and they're a pretty ruthless bunch from my experience. I can't imagine how much teasing you got when you started your Saltwater YouTube channel.
Oh yeah. You'd find a picture of me on the screensaver of the computer at the station, or one of the guys is, one of my favorite fire department pranks of all time. He went to all the trouble to make up dozens of fake email accounts and subscribe to my channel with those fake email accounts, and would put comments on my videos. Sometimes they'd be nice. Other times, of course, they'd be like ridiculous, like, oh, you want to go out on a date, or ridiculous stuff. And the one when I finally figured out that Jake was doing this was, he put on a comment. He's like, hey man, this video was really good, but the only thing that would make it even better is if you weren't in it.
And then you were like, uh-oh,
nobody's that mean.
Yeah.
I was like, nobody's that mean. And then I realized I put two and two together, and yep, it was all him.
How do you, you'll be guiding as part of your future business. How are you going to find guide clients?
I get messages all the time through my Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube for people asking me, hey, I'm going to be in Destin on this day. Can you take me? And I don't think it's going to be much of a problem finding clientele. And I don't want to be one of those guides that I'm guiding people 6 days a week. I want to do it a few days a week. I want to have time to work on my channel and then enjoy time with Michelle. And so I don't want it to get overwhelming. And since it's not going to be my primary income, because I've got the firefighter pension, so I won't feel the pressure that I've got to book 10 clients this week, to make ends meet. Right. So it'll be nice not having that pressure. Yeah. And just doing it because I enjoy it, and that's what I want to do.
Right. And for anybody else out there that's watching this that thinks, well, gosh, he's a firefighter. I'm not. I don't have that luxury. What Sean is really doing is adjusting his sails. He thought his life was going to go one way, and then through serendipity figured out that wasn't what was going to make him happy. There was another path that he could take that was going to make him more happy and fulfilled. And even though you do have a pension, I'm sure you're not, I'm sure I feel like you still you're simplifying your life so that you can make things work with your pension and what other income you bring in. It's not like you're going to be down here living in a mansion on the waterfront and on your firefighter's pension, right?
No, we've kind of minimalized things. And like I said earlier, we realized all we need is to, we want to be in Florida and be near the beach. And I want to fish all over Florida, and Michelle wants to hunt seashells all over Florida. Yeah. And the guiding is also a way to supplement that, where we're able to do that.
Yeah, that's right. And, Sean, it's when you do those kinds of things, when you adjust your sails and go and follow your bliss and do the thing that makes you happy, it's weird how doors open for you.
Yeah, it has been. You just start meeting people, and you meet. It's funny. You meet when you go through this. You meet people and you find out who wants to help you. Yeah. And when people start helping you, it makes you want to help other people. Right. And that's right. That's kind of the whole way I got into this. Was everybody was so kind and generous, like Ty Sutherland. There's another local guy, Joseph Rizzo, that have just helped me out fishing, saying, hey, I'll take you to this spot. Because a lot of guys are like, no, we don't want to share fishing spots. Yeah. Or we don't want to give away our secret technique. Right. And Ty's like, I want everybody to catch fish. It's not like we're going to run out of fish.
Yeah. Right.
Because you tell somebody how to do it or where to go.
Yeah.
You know,
Isn't Ty? Is Ty from Texas?
Yes, and he's back down in Texas now.
But he fishes in Florida a lot.
Well, they actually lived in Pensacola for several years.
Oh,
that's when we met, and they were living in Florida. They've moved back to Rockport, Texas, where they're from.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's cool. That's very cool. So, how are you going to handle going from the kind of the structured fire department world to you make your own schedule, you work when you want to work. Obviously, like I said, you're obviously disciplined, and I think it takes a disciplined person to do that. But are you concerned that you won't work enough, or are you concerned that you might work too much?
I think I'll be able to find a happy balance. I've always been kind of somebody that thinks outside the box.
Yeah.
And that's gotten me in trouble a few times on the fire department for not going by the rules.
By the book. Yeah.
Yeah. By the book.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing.
Right.
And I think that kind of thinking will serve me well.
Absolutely.
With what I'm about to.
Yeah. Absolutely.
If one of the things on YouTube that all of like the YouTube guys that talk about how to be successful on YouTube, one of the things is you want to stand out and be different. You don't want to be like everybody else.
Yeah. How is the Lawless Tide different?
Well, for the last 5 years, it's been different because it's Okie.
Yeah. Oklahoma dude.
Saltwater, and I don't cut my mistakes out of my videos. That's one of the things I think people like, is because there's a lot of bloopers.
Yeah.
In there when I screw up or do something wrong, and I leave that in there because that helps people learn what not to do.
That's right.
So I think that for one, because a lot of the videos you watch, everybody wants to make themselves look like they're the greatest fisherman in the world. Mm-hmm. And wow, that guy, that video was 5 minutes long and he caught 20 fish.
Yeah.
Well, that's not how the real world works.
Right.
They were probably filming for who knows how long to show those 20 fish.
Right.
And just make it look like it was a little short time frame.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've got videos where I may not even catch a fish. So
I love that. That's, I used to produce outdoor shows for ESPN, and I thought, and I would always kind of complain about, a lot of the shows you would see on TV, they were going to like the most, snobby places to fish and hunt because they cost $1 gazillion to go there, and they were not what the normal guy could do, or guy or girl could do. And also, you don't catch them every cast. I don't care where you are. You can be in all of the greatest fishing spots in the world, but you don't catch them every cast. And if you never show that you don't catch them every cast, then people don't know. They don't know what to expect for themselves, So
I like presenting something that anybody can do.
Yes, right. Now, I want to ask you this. It seems like kayak fishing YouTube channels have gotten, really, really popular. Do you think it's because it's so... I've always felt like a barrier to entry to the fishing world was how much it cost. And, if you're going to go bass fishing, you see people on TV or on, our YouTube stars, and they have a fancy boat that cost them $80,000, and most people can't do that. So do you think that's one of the reasons why kayak fishing videos have become so popular?
Oh yeah. I think that's the main reason, because when people turn that on and look at it, they're like, wow, I could go buy a used kayak for a few $100, and I can do that. And a lot of my videos don't even involve a kayak. I'm just walking on a bridge or walking on the beach or waiting. I mean, all you need is a fishing pole.
Right. I'm glad you're doing that. That's so important for our sport, for people to see that, because that is the way most of us start,
Right.
So what is your favorite part about the fishing business, the business side of fishing?
When I get messages from people that like say, hey, I watched your videos on Destin, or I watched your videos on Sanibel, and I went there and I had the greatest fishing trip of my life.
Oh, that's great.
Or I watched your video and it helped me catch the biggest fish I've ever caught. I mean,
That's great. Yeah.
I always read those to my wife. I like to, and she gets excited, and it makes you feel good that know that you're helping people.
It makes you feel like you're doing something worthwhile, I think. Yeah. And, I got an email from somebody about 2 weeks ago that said, Angie, and it's somebody I didn't know. And he said, I got a sponsor. The first time in my life I've ever gotten a sponsor because I listened to what you said and I did the things that you said to do. And for the first time he was so excited. And it made me feel so good. It made me feel like those late nights of, editing videos and uploading them were worth it,
It does.
All right, y'all, we're going to take a quick break here on the Fishing Business Podcast. We'll be right back with Sean Lawless of the Lawless Tide YouTube channel and soon to be Florida resident. We'll be right back.
I really want to hear from you to know what kind of questions you have and how I can serve you best in this podcast. The easiest place to reach me is probably at Facebook or Instagram, where you can find me as Fishing Business Podcast, or on YouTube. But you'll have to search for me there by typing in Fishing Business Podcast. Holla!
All right, we're back on the Fishing Business Podcast with Sean Lawless, my friend Sean, who is the world's only saltwater YouTube star who lives in Oklahoma. But actually, he's about to become a Florida resident. He has a YouTube channel called the Lawless Tide, and he's retiring from the fire department in Tulsa, moving to Florida to become a full-time content creator and fishing guide down here in the saltwater. And I can't wait for you to get down here. So this is kind of my rapid fire questions at the end of a podcast. I love throwing these out there to see what you say. If you could turn back time and talk to your 22-year-old self, what would you tell him?
I would tell him, assuming that he would listen, that to value and enjoy the time you get to spend with people, friends, family, because later on in life, you start to value those relationships and friendships you've made. But at the time, usually when you're young, you take those for granted.
Yeah.
And I'm at the age where now you're starting to realize you're going to lose people. And
yeah. And you don't get those chances back. Yeah.
And don't want regrets.
That's right. And, we all get busy raising children, trying to get our careers on track, going to soccer games. And then once your kids are grown, then you can start going, I wish I got to see my buddy Sean more, and so I urge people to take, when you have those thoughts, act on them, because the most valuable thing that you can give each other is your time. And none of us really need more things, but we all need more time, I think. Okay. What about two people, living or dead, who could be at your fantasy dinner party? And so it'll be you and your wife, Michelle. He's adorable. I love his wife, Michelle. Sean and Michelle, and two people, living or dead, fictional or real.
One would be my mom.
Okay.
We lost her about 15 years ago.
Oh, I love that you would want her there.
Yeah. And the other would probably be the old man from The Old Man and the Sea.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Well, you're a lot like him. Hard-headed, bullheaded, like a dog with a bone, not giving up and love to fish. Oh my gosh, that's you. All right, tell us about somebody who's because I know you watch a lot of YouTube. Tell us about someone's content that we should be consuming. Not Ty Sutherland, because we've talked about him a lot, but somebody else who might be under the radar that none of us are watching that you would think would be good for us to discover.
All right. One would be Yakking with Jack.
Yakking with Jack.
Yep. He's out of Pensacola. Super nice guy. Great content. We become friends. We've gone fishing together a few times. We stay in touch, text a lot.
Oh, that's great.
He's got a real good channel, good content, and good guy.
Okay.
Another one would be a newer channel would be Bearded Brad. He's out of Alabama. Yeah.
That sounds like a Bama boy. And I can say that because I'm from Alabama.
Oh, he looks like he's from Alabama. And Real nice guy. He's actually in my neck of the woods right now. He's down in Santa Rosa Beach fishing. So I gave him a few spots to go hit. So hopefully he'll do well. Good content, good guy.
Yeah.
And then probably the last one, a little bit bigger channel than those two is Thonny. It's Thonny.
Okay.
He's out of the Tampa Bay area.
Okay.
And really great fisherman, has a lot of real good instructional stuff on his videos, but his editing is like top notch. I mean, It's like cinematic, great editing, great cinematography. His video, they're good fishing, but I appreciate him more just for the quality that content that he puts out there.
All right. I will put all of those. I'll link to them in the show notes, and I'll also link to Sean's channels so you guys can catch up with him. And just before we go, Sean, I want to learn to kayak fish and or to fish out of a kayak here in the saltwater. What should I be watching for when I watch some of this? How do you learn from watching on YouTube? Because like I said, I've never done it. I don't know anything about it. At this point, I'm worried about losing my rods or my gear, so tell me how to watch these videos and learn.
Well, my suggestion would be to try and find people that are in your specific area that have channels, watch them. And Facebook has a lot of great fishing forums for kayak fishermen in our area.
Okay.
There's Emerald Coast Kayak Anglers, Destin Kayak Fishing.
Okay.
There's tons of Facebook groups and a lot of good guys in there.
Yeah.
And all the time you see guys on there, hey, I'm new to this. I've never gone. And 5 or 6 guys will go, hey, we're going Saturday. Why don't you go with us?
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So get with people. I've met the nicest people through kayak fishing.
Yeah, that's great.
Everybody seems to be humble, kind, generous. Yeah. So that would be my suggestion.
You meet the greatest people in the fishing industry. I'm telling you, that is absolutely the truth. Well, thank you so much, Sean, for spending this time with us. I appreciate you taking time out of your day, and I look forward to you moving to Florida where you can take me kayak fishing and teach me something about it. Maybe you can teach me how to not get knocked over and lose my stuff. But I really do appreciate it. I wish you the best of luck, and I know you're going to be successful, and I appreciate you taking the time to be with us.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it, Angie.
Hope you guys enjoyed meeting Sean Lawless from the Lawless Tide. I think it's pretty cool what he's doing, and I'm inspired by him. I hope you're inspired by him too. We've kind of been talking to a lot of entrepreneurs the last couple of weeks here, and we got another one coming up next week. Really, what I wanted you guys to see was that you can follow your dreams. And if you're dedicated enough and you work hard enough, you can make your own dreams come true. That's what this is all about, is making your dreams come true. That's what life is about. So hope you learned something there from Sean about how to do that. And if you're ever down in the Florida Panhandle, maybe you can call him and get him to take you fishing if you like doing that sort of thing. Saltwater fishing, that is, because I know you like fishing or you wouldn't be here. All right, y'all. Thank you for spending a little bit of your wild and precious life here with us on the Fishing Business Podcast. I'm going to close things out by saying this is dedicated to Dad, because he always had time to take me fishing. See you next time, y'all.